And at number 10, Ellen DeGeneres. In 2020, Ellen went through one of the biggest scandals of all time when it was exposed that she was not the friendly, nice dancing lady that we see on screen, and behind the scenes she was incredibly mean. Ellen's fall from niceness all started when one of DeGeneres' former employees, Kevin T. Porter, tweeted out that Ellen was, quote, notoriously one of the meanest people alive. And the replies of the tweet shared tons of negative interactions that people had with Ellen over the years. This sparked a whole wave of exposing of not only Ellen, but her show as well. Then it was revealed that her show also had a toxic work environment and her staff were verbally berated constantly. There were even reports of inappropriate conduct by high-level producers of the show, which resulted in a number of the top producers getting fired. As of now, Ellen is set to end her long reign on daytime TV after this season is finished. And at number 9, Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams is notorious for her controversial opinions on her show that constantly get her in hot water. This year, she got tons of backlash after she made some insensitive comments while talking about a TikToker named Swaby. Wendy started off the segment saying she had no idea who he was and nobody in the audience would probably know either. Then she started talking about his TikTok followers and how he has more followers than her. Then her producer named Norman chimed in that Wendy actually has more followers than him on Instagram, not TikTok. Then out of nowhere, Wendy explains the reason that they're even talking about him is because he was killed. He died at the age of 19, and Wendy described the situation while adding that nobody is currently in custody, so the case will most likely not be solved. This clip then went viral online with people calling out Wendy for how strange and insensitive the segment was. Swaby's mother, Chanel Clark, told Philadelphia's CBS 3 that she didn't appreciate Williams' commentary. Quote, like as a mother, Wendy Williams, how dare you? So disrespectful. I used to watch you as a child and even though you have a gossip show and all that, you didn't even know my son. And at number 8, Amber Heard. Amber Heard has been in a messy divorce battle with her ex Johnny Depp for years now. Many online believe she is a liar and more evidence keeps mounting that she probably is. Some body camera footage from a pivotal night in their divorce battle was released this year, showing their apartment in 2016. The footage shows a tidy apartment, which is a stark contrast to what Amber claimed in her original testimony. And Depp and his lawyers believe that this proves that Amber lied when she said that Depp trashed their apartment that night. And that's why their relationship ended. Heard has given evidence in multiple legal cases saying that Depp hurled a phone at her face and trashed their penthouse kitchen during the May 2016 dust-up. But now it looks like that was not the case. And this is fueling even more backlash against the actress and support for Johnny Depp. And at number 7, David Dobrik. David was another star that went through a massive cancellation in 2020. It started when Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein interviewed many of David's past Vlog Squad members and shared the details of their toxic experiences. Then an insider article came out exposing that someone had been SA'd while filming for David's vlog, showing that he facilitates a toxic frat boy environment where illegal things take place. And just when you think things couldn't get any worse for David, it was revealed that he was personally responsible for Jeff Wittick's life-threatening eye injury. This injury is so bad that Jeff is not even fully healed over a year later. Because of all of this, David's ads were cut from YouTube, along with losing all of his sponsors. He was even forced to step down from his own app, Dispo. David released multiple apology videos, which were mostly roasted on the internet. And after a 3-month-long break, he returned to vlogging. And at number 6, James Charles. James Charles was at one point the biggest beauty YouTuber on the platform. And he was so popular that he even got major celebrities to collaborate with him on his channel, like Kylie Jenner and Doja Cat. But there have been so many ups and downs in his career, it seems that the beauty community is just tired of him. James has been at the center of some of the biggest cancellations on YouTube. And after his recent 2021 cancellation, I think his career is done for good. Specifically because in 2021, he was cancelled for the exact same thing that he was cancelled for back in 2019 during Bye Sister. He owned up to his problematic behavior in a video, then left the internet for about 4 months. Then when he came back, his channel had a significant drop. James used to get over 5 million views a video easily, but now he struggles to get about 2 million. Of course, these are still massive numbers, but it's clear that there's been a noticeable decline. Halfway number 5, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato received massive backlash after they attacked a small business on Instagram. After Demi visited a frozen yogurt shop in LA, they were shocked to see that there were multiple sugar-free and low-calorie options at the store, which Demi believed promoted diet culture. Demi decided to take their anger to the internet, where they blasted the shop in an Instagram story. But the shop clapped back on their own Instagram and said that they cater to all different types of diets, and the snacks that Demi saw were most likely for diabetics or people with celiac disease. After this, people started attacking Demi, saying they should have known all the facts before attempting to cancel the shop, especially in the midst of a pandemic which hit small businesses the worst. And at number 4, Sia. Sia is best known as an iconic singer, but she decided to take a dive into directing, and it got her cancelled. She decided to create and direct a movie called Music about a girl with autism. The movie was star-studded, including Kate Hudson in the cast, who won a Golden Globe for her performance. After the film was released, it faced extensive backlash. Many found the film damaging to the autistic community, along with perpetuating stereotypes about the condition. Sia also got backlash for deciding to cast Maddie Maddie Ziegler, her longtime dancer, in that role instead of an actual autistic person. As of now, the reviews for the movie are atrocious, with only a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And at number 3, Billie Eilish. Billie has been going through a pretty rough patch recently, and it seems that every month something bad is getting exposed about her. Recently, a video went viral where Billie was mocking an Asian accent, as well as mouthing the C word, a slur for Asian people. She also has been constantly called out for using a black scent and strongly emulating black culture. This scandal came just days after Billie's last scandal, where she's accused of queer baiting. This accusation happened after Billie posted some behind-the-scenes footage from her Lost Cause music video. The caption on that was, quote, "I love girls." Many felt she might be insinuating she could be queer to gain attention. However, others felt it was her way of subtly coming out but not putting any labels. To add on to the number of scandals that Billie currently finds herself in, her new boyfriend, 29-year-old Matthew Tyler Vorse, was exposed for tweeting racist and homophobic things in the past, and he recently apologized for that online. And at number 2, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen got cancelled in 2021 after it was exposed that she bullied other celebrities on Twitter in the past. These old tweets were incredibly shocking and problematic and proved what a nasty person that she could be. Courtney Stodden was the first person to bring up Chrissy's problematic behavior and expose the mean tweets that Chrissy tweeted about Courtney, including telling Courtney that they should, quote, "take a dirt nap." Chrissy apologized, writing, quote, "As you know, a bunch of my old awful tweets resurfaced. I'm truly ashamed of them, as I look at them and understand the hurt that they've caused." Although plenty of fans do not believe her apology is sincere. And finally, at number 1, Chris Noth. Following the release of the 2021 Sex and the City reboot called And Just Like That, actor Chris Noth has been accused of sexual crimes against multiple women. The women, who remained anonymous, said that the events happened in 2004 and 2015. Noth and these women had sexual relations which were either non-consensual or consent was granted after pressure. After the allegations became public, Peloton decided to pull their ad featuring the actor. Both women told The Hollywood Reporter that Noth's return to the Sex and the City franchise had triggered memories of their experiences with him years ago. Neither of the encounters were reported to police at the time. As of now, 5 women have come out against him. The 3 leading women on Sex and the City have also issued a statement supporting the women that have come out against Noth. And at number 10, Travis Scott. After the recent Astroworld Festival tragedy, it might be the end of Travis Scott as we know him. While Travis was performing at the sold-out 50,000-person festival, concertgoers rushed to the front of the stage, causing mass panic. People were crushed and not able to breathe. This resulted in the death of at least 10 people and injuries to hundreds of others. Since the festival, Travis Scott, along with the venue and concert promoters, are being sued for billions of dollars. Drake has also been named in a number of the lawsuits. Travis has released some statements and even a video apology, but fans are extremely disappointed and believe he should have stopped the show. Videos have even surfaced of Travis looking right at the crowd while someone was being resuscitated, and many believe he saw what was happening and just did nothing. Following the tragedy, Travis is flooded with lawsuits, and no venue will ever want to host a concert of his again. And at number 9, DaBaby. DaBaby endured probably the worst cancellation of 2021 after he made homophobic remarks while on stage performing. He paused his performance and said in part, quote, "If you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly diseases, that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, put your cell phone light up," adding that ladies can put their cell phone lights up if their privates, quote, "smell like water," then making derogatory comments about men hooking up in the parking lot. After the comments were made, the rapper faced backlash from fellow performers as well as fans. His collaborator Dua Lipa even made a statement condemning him. The rapper was supposed to be headlining the final day of Lollapalooza, but he was later dropped, along with getting pulled or dropping out of countless other festivals. He's made countless statements and apologies since, but fans have not believed any of them. And at number 8, Matt Damon. Matt Damon got cancelled after he revealed in an interview that he only recently stopped using the F slur in conversation. He thought the media would praise him for the decision, but everyone was just wondering what took him so long. During an interview, he shared a story about how his daughter urged him to stop using the F slur, as it is homophobic. Damon claims he only used it as a joke and never in a hurtful manner, but that his daughter's words resonated with him and he decided to stop. But that instantly backfired, with people calling out the star for ever saying it in the first place. Damon then tried to clear the air and clarified that he never actually said the F slur in the first place. He only heard it back when he was a kid. Damon said, quote, "I never called anyone that word in my personal life, and this conversation with my daughter was not a personal awakening. I do not use slurs of any kind." But it seemed to be too little too late. And number 7, Lea Michele. Lea Michele used to be the queen of musical theater, making a name for herself on the hit show Glee. But that all changed in 2020 when she got called out by plenty of her former cast and crewmates, saying she was a rude and entitled brat. The person who kicks this off was Samantha Ware. She started the entire downfall of Lea Michele after she called out Michelle for the way that she acted on the set of Glee. When Lea Michele posted tweets in support of George Floyd after his death, Ware decided to call out Michelle on the hypocrisy. She commented, quote, "Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell," adding that Michelle was microaggressive towards her and even threatened her. After this, plenty more people of color that Lea Michele had worked with came forward to expose her. As of now, she's just laying low and hasn't been cast in a project in years. And at number 6, Chrissy Teigen. If you guys remember, Chrissy Teigen went through a massive cancellation after it was revealed that she bullied multiple celebrities over the years on Twitter, even coming after children at some points. Her main targets seemed to be Courtney Stodden, who spoke out against Teigen and her harassment many times. All of her unearthed tweets were incredibly disgusting and made the entire internet turn on her. Chrissy decided to leave the internet for an undisclosed amount of time to reflect on her words and actions, but the time she took away only turned out to be a measly 23 days. She couldn't even pretend that she was actually going to change her ways and work on herself. Her return to the internet was not taken well, and many of her fans have stopped supporting her. She also just got backlash for hosting a Squid Games themed party. Many think it's ironic because she would be the rich person paying to watch in the real show. Halfway at number 5, James Charles. James Charles is another influencer that is constantly involved in drama. Back in 2019, in the midst of the Bi Sisters scandal, James went through the biggest cancellation YouTube had ever seen because of allegations from Tati Westbrook and Jeffree Star that James was using his influence to trick men, specifically straight men, into being with him romantically. James was actually able to refute a lot of the claims, and his career quickly came back. However, recently tons of teens under the legal age have come forward to expose that they sent and received inappropriate photos from James on Snapchat, with many even providing proof. A recent tweet from Keemstar states that currently 6 teenagers have come out against James so far, but it was later proved that the number is much higher. James tried to brush off the allegations a number of times, but when fans demanded answers, he uploaded a YouTube video admitting to everything. And at number 4, Erika Jayne. I have been following this one since day one, as I'm a huge fan of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. One of the cast star ladies, Erika Girardi, aka Erika Jayne, shocked the world when she suddenly decided to divorce her husband, all-star attorney Tom Girardi. But then police and lawyers got involved, and it was exposed that Tom was a fraud and achieved their lavish lifestyle from stealing from his clients. The fact that Tom represented orphans and widows made things even worse, as he was stealing from people that really needed the money. Erika is now being sued left, right, and center, and she might even be facing jail time. She spent the entire season of the show fielding accusations about her involvement, but over time the fans and fellow cast members turned on her. She's still on the show as of now, but facing bankruptcy with all her lawsuits. And at number 3, Zoe Laverne. Zoe Laverne was cancelled in 2020 after a leaked video showed her kissing a The fan was 13 and had become friends with Zoe at the time, and since Zoe was 19, this is disgusting. After the video went viral, there were rumors that she had been arrested, but we later learned that was not the case. She later took to Instagram Live to address the video, saying she didn't do anything wrong with Connor, adding, quote, "I wouldn't do that to him. I literally love Connor to death. I wouldn't do anything to him ever without consent. Connor and I both consented to kissing. That's how it went. We both liked each other, and then we realized that the ages were too different. Nothing happened between us besides kissing." And the fact that she was defending it just makes it so much worse. She's been laying low on the internet ever since. And at number 2, Morgan Wallen. Country singer Morgan Wallen was swiftly cancelled this year after he was caught using the N-word on a security camera in February. Wallen was already on thin ice with the public after he left the SNL crew scrambling to replace him as the musical guest on the show when he broke quarantine guidelines before his appearance. At the time the footage was released, Wallen had one of the most successful country albums ever made. But after the incident he apologized, saying, quote, "I'm embarrassed and sorry. I used an unacceptable and appropriate racial slur that I wish I could take back." The public was so outraged that his music was blacklisted from radio stations and he was taken off Spotify playlists. Since the scandal, he has started touring again and still breaking country music records, although he is still banned from a lot of award shows. And finally, number 1, Sia. Sia is known for being a massive pop star, belting out insane vocals. But this year she decided to try a new venture out, most recently directing the film Music. But this film might have just destroyed her career. The movie was released in February of 2021, and even before its release, it was already getting widespread criticism. The film is about an autistic girl who is brought under the care of her half-sister after the passing of their mother. Originally it faced backlash for casting Maddie Ziegler to play Music in the film when she is not autistic, but after its release it was criticized for not accurately portraying portraying those on the autism spectrum, as well as showing harmful and dangerous restraint methods in the film that were widely condemned by those in the community. The film currently has a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and Sia was forced to apologize for Maddie's portrayal in the film. And at number 10, Morgan Wallen. Country singer Morgan Wallen was cancelled this year after he was caught using the N-word on a security camera in February. Wallen was already on thin ice with the public after he left the Saturday Night Live crew scrambling to replace him as the musical guest on the show when he broke quarantine guidelines the day before his appearance. At the time the footage was released, Wallen had one of the most successful country albums ever made, but after the incident he apologized, saying, quote, "I'm embarrassed and sorry. I used an unacceptable and inappropriate racial slur that I wish I could take back." His music was also banned from being played on many radio stations, and he was taken out of playlists on Spotify. He has stayed out of the press since. And at number 9, Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson is one of the most successful YouTubers ever, as he's managed to stay relevant on the platform for over a decade. However, his success has been riddled with controversy for basically his entire time on the internet. Back in the early days, he would play black characters in skits and even wear blackface as he put on a strong black scent. It was also exposed that he would make inappropriate jokes about his young fans and would talk about overly sexual content with them. Shane always managed to talk his way out of these scandals, and he would come back better than before. But in 2020, he experienced his biggest cancellation to date, and all the problematic behavior from his past resurfaced. He was even publicly called out by Jada and Jaden Smith for a disturbing incident relating to Willow Smith. After everything was exposed, he was dropped from all his sponsors, and he hasn't returned to the internet since. And at number 8, Lea Michele. Lea Michele's cancellation was the cancellation that kicked off 2020. After Lea tweeted out in support of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, many of her black former castmates came forward speaking of their terrible experiences working with Lea. Many said that she treated them differently because of their race, and Lea would even make derogatory comments relating to the black community, like telling one woman that she was going to defecate in her wig. This spawned even more criticism of Lea, with people saying that she was just an all-around spoiled brat and was rude to every person on set. After being dropped from multiple sponsors, Lea posted an apology to Instagram. She stayed silent online for many months and has now started posting again. And at number 7, David Dobrik. David Dobrik used to be classified as one of the most successful YouTubers ever, known for giving away cars to his friends, but that all changed when Trisha Paytas started hosting the Frenemies podcast and went after David and his crew. Shortly after Frenemies started bringing up David's worst moments, an insider article dropped where a girl shared her story of being assaulted by Vlog Squad member Dirty Dom. The woman also accused David of facilitating the toxic environment that led to her assault, but that's not all. Around this time, it was also exposed that he was responsible for an accident that almost took the life of his good friend Jeff Wittick. Jeff was partaking in a stunt for David's vlogs, but it went horribly wrong, and David took things too far, leading Jeff to have serious, life-threatening injuries to his face and eye. David took a long break, but is posting to YouTube once again. And at number 6, J.K. Rowling. Author J.K. Rowling was beloved for her Harry Potter novels that broke records worldwide for being one of the most successful franchises ever. However, since her rise to fame, Rowling has received a constant stream of controversy for allegedly being transphobic, and she's tweeted out multiple statements over the years that have been called out as transphobic. She also supports TERFism, which is a belief that trans women aren't women and that biological sex is the only factor that determines gender. The backlash against all this got even worse when she released a novel where a man was dressing up as a woman in order to dupe female victims and kill them. Halfway number 5, Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson was basically the king of YouTube in 2020. He had multiple massive docu-series that were breaking the internet, and he was doing numbers that nobody had seen on the platform. But that all changed when problematic behavior from his past resurfaced. It was exposed that he was a key part of James Charles's original bi-sister cancellation, and he wasn't the nice empath that he'd been portraying for years. Shane stayed off the internet for about a year and a half before coming back with a haunted series for Halloween in 2021. Although, like we've seen in other cases, his return was not well received and his series got a fraction of what his past ones usually did. And at number 4, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy was involved in a massive scandal recently after several old tweets were exposed. It started when Courtney Stodden exposed that Chrissy would bully them publicly and even privately, even though they didn't even know each other. The tweets told Stodden to go to sleep forever and told her that she looked like an idiot. And to make things worse, Stodden alleged that Chrissy would not just tweet about them, but also send them private messages. These messages apparently told Stodden to end their own life, and told Stodden that Tegan couldn't wait for them to die. This scandal actually took place months after another scandal, where it was speculated as to whether Chrissy had ties to disgraced billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. Since Chrissy is constantly in scandals, she often takes breaks from her social media platforms, and many criticize her for dishing out constantly but not being able to take it back. And at number 3, Justin Timberlake. After Framing Britney Spears was released, fans realized just how horrible that Justin was to Britney during their relationship. The documentary centered around Britney's terrible treatment in the media and how the people in her life contributed to this. One of the people that made the media treatment worse was her boyfriend at the time, Justin Timberlake. His worst offenses were speaking about their love life when that was something that Britney wanted to keep hidden, along with insinuating that Britney cheated in his Cry Me a River music video. But Timberlake was not only exposed for treating Britney badly, but his handling of the infamous Janet Jackson Super Bowl scandal also resurfaced, because Jackson's career was essentially ruined after the incident, but Timberlake got away scot-free. In response to all the backlash, he posted a lengthy apology to Instagram. Although many felt it was forced by public pressure, not really genuine. And at number 2, the Lopez brothers. The Lopez brothers of TikTok have been getting intense backlash after it was exposed that both brothers participated in illegal conduct with. It started with Tony Lopez, when multiple girls came forward and showed text messages and DMs proving that Tony knew of their ages but still had contact with them. As a result of all this, Tony was sued by 2 of the teenagers for his actions, although he has vehemently denied all the claims. Next on to Andreas. Andreas Lopez, the older brother in the Lopez brothers, also has been accused of having relations with a 14-year-old girl. After the incident, the girl's friend posted a video to TikTok of Andreas having a conversation with the girl's mother, where the mother says that Andreas, quote, could go to jail for what he did. And finally, number 1, Trisha Paytas. Trisha is easily the most controversial person on the entire internet. Trisha's been on the platform for over a decade and has managed to stay relevant because of her crazy antics and affiliations with other huge influencers like Shane Dawson and Ethan Klein. Most recently, the internet was actually starting to love Trisha again, and fans were ecstatic about the Frenemies podcast. However, things quickly went south with the podcast, and after Trish walked off the podcast 3 separate times, Ethan has decided that Frenemies is done. Ethan has now changed the podcast to Be Families, starring his parents. And Ethan has exposed the toxic treatment that Trisha put him through. Ethan says that he was constantly walking on eggshells and would do anything possible to avoid offending Trish. But after a while, he just couldn't take the stress anymore.